Okay, hello geometry parents. Hopefully you guys were able to watch that video on the Get to Know Me piece or the Meet Mr. Brian video. I wanted to make this video specifically for geometry students. I do have a few sections of geometry and then a few sections of honors. So I wanted to focus mainly on just the geometry portion here and specifically what the class will look like and things for your students and yourselves to expect in terms of how the class is set up and run. So with that being said, getting into the first piece here with assignments, I'll usually be giving students assignments on a daily basis. There'll be some days here or there where we don't really need to give some assignments or homework assignments, whether that be homeworks or exit tickets, but in most cases you should be expecting that from my class. Those will be graded on accuracy on a scale of 1 to 5. So this is, if I've had your student before, this is a little bit different from what we've seen. So the way this works is they'll turn in a homework assignment. These will always be posted and submitted through Student View. So they'll work out their work on a separate sheet of paper, or they can print it out at home if they'd like. But in any case, especially since we're in a time like this with COVID, whether we're online or whether we're in person, they will need to submit their work and their homework online, so that we're not transmitting a piece of paper. We're not transmitting things through that throughout the year. So with homeworks and how the grading works, on exit tickets, I'll just grade it for accuracy. Usually those are about 3 to 4 question assignments that they're expected to get done before they leave class. And then with homeworks, those are usually longer, more like 8 to 12 questions, somewhere in that range. And I'll be grading those, like I said, based on a scale of 1 to 5. So I grade 2 of the questions from the homework. I'll usually choose one that's a little bit simpler and trying to show that it is a way that they're showing the basic understanding of what we talked about, and then sometimes one that's a little bit more challenging to see if they got that next level of understanding from the lesson that day. And then, like I said, I'll grade it on how they do on those 2, and then making sure that they complete the rest of that homework assignment as well, while also making sure that they are showing all of their work, because I do have to take points off for that. Okay, but that's to expect from homework assignments and exit tickets. So if you ever see some of those numbers, that's usually why. And I can usually mark on Student View which ones they missed. So I'll try to give them that feedback. And if there's ever any other questions of why they missed something, or they're struggling to do a problem, make sure to encourage them to always come in and ask questions, whether that's in our seminar time or whether that is before or after school, because I can always help them try to make sure they understand what a certain concept, before. Obviously the assignments are just to get us prepared for quizzes and tests. Okay. So with that being said, with quizzes and tests, one big thing, we'll take usually a quiz maybe once every couple of weeks, just to get us prepared for the test and make sure we understand where we're at. And then we'll have tests at the end of every unit. Students in this class are allowed to retake any quiz or test up to a week after the grades are handed back. So what this will look like for quizzes is they'll get the quiz back, and usually that'll just be, I'll usually have them, again, submit it through Student View, and then I can mark it up and show them which ones they missed. If they would like to retake a quiz, all they need is to make sure they have all of their homework turned in up to that point. And like I said, they can retake any quiz at least once if they would like to get a better score. Tests are a little bit more, or asking a little bit more of them, so they, as well, or as in addition to having all of their homework turned in, they also need to have test corrections completed. And I have to make sure that this is clear to students every year. But the test corrections do not improve their grade. The test corrections are just the ticket that allows them to retake the test. And then from the retakes, whether it's a quiz or a test, I just take the best score out of the 2. So theoretically, a kid could fail, a quiz or a test, but if they put in the work and they're willing to show that they want to try to relearn it or fill in those gaps or those misconceptions, they can theoretically get up to 100% on that assignment. So just make sure your students understand that there's always ways to improve their grade, and I get emails a good amount of time asking, how do I improve my grade? This is always what I point students to. If we took a recent quiz or test, since they are weighted so heavily, and I'll show that in just a minute, since they are weighted so heavily, this is by far the best way or the most effective way for students to raise their grade in my class. Okay. So with that being said, with the weighting, homework and notebook checks will be 15% of their grade. Quizzes and PBL, which is project-based learning, one of the things that we try to promote here at West. We might have 1 or 2 of these scattered throughout the year. Will be 30% of their grade, and then exams are worth 55% of their grade. So weighted very heavily because I want students to be able to show what they know and have this specific assessment, whether that's a test or whether it's a project, to be able to show their understanding fully and be rewarded for that. And then, like I said, I understand that some students, especially with math, are not always going to get every topic right away, and that's completely fine. As long as they're willing to put in the work, their grade will reflect that work as well. And I can always obviously help them correct quizzes or tests or make sure that we are understanding why we missed some things so that we can not miss it on the retake. And like I said, I just take the best score out of the 2. So that is how the grades are weighted. Other extra little notes to add in here about our class. If there's any late work, that will be accepted for full credit up until the corresponding test. So until we've taken the Unit 2 test, any of the 2.1 homework, 2.2 homework, so on and so forth, even if they don't turn it in the day it is due, I'll still take it for full credit up until the test. And I try to tell students that they don't want to use this as a crutch too much or just a way to let their work pile up, obviously. This is just a small opportunity that they can take advantage of if there's one or two little things that happen throughout the year that they are falling behind. Because I understand that some students have busy lives outside of school. They have different activities that they're involved in, or other classes that they have a lot of work doing. And I want to give them an opportunity to maybe take another day or two if everything's kind of loading up all at once there. But like I said, obviously the recommendation would not be to wait until everything is due and then try to get that turned in, because usually the night before the test, you don't want to just be cramming in all the homework, because usually that doesn't end too well. And then even after that, any late turned in after the corresponding test, I'll take that for half credit. Again, just a way for students to earn back little points here and there if there's times when they need to improve their grade just a tiny bit to get up to that next letter, for instance. With absence, all notes will be posted on our class website. Specifically with what we've been doing with online learning, and most likely hybrid as well, is all of our lessons will be done over a video or YouTube video. So those will be posted on the class website either way, whether they attend school that day or not. And then students are expected to see me if they have any questions, whether it's in class or reach out through email. And then one other thing I want to include with absences for you guys as parents is if you ever have a student, you get an email and say they were absent that day and you know they were present at school, feel free to reach out to me. There have been times where students come in late, or the timing of it is just off a little bit, and I forget to change it in the grade book that they were present that day. So like I said, as always, if that is the case, feel free to email me and we can get that fixed very quickly. And I'll obviously try to avoid doing that as much as I can. With resource times, unfortunately, we don't have Power 50 this semester, but if students ever need help on questions or anything like that, other than just utilizing class time, I would also recommend that they utilize Seminar. We'll have that every other day, so hopefully they can spend that time coming in and asking questions and getting some individual help. And then I'm always available before or after school as well. I don't have specific times set up. So I just need to have students who, if they feel like they need extra help outside of class, just need to contact me, whether that is through in class or whether that's through email. And I'm always happy to do that. I had a student last year who came in the morning of every test at 7 a.m. He really wanted help on his review and making sure he understood ideas and concepts before we took the test. And I met with him at 7 a.m. each time, and that vastly helped improve his grade. So again, if the students are willing to put in that time or have that time outside of school, I will obviously accommodate that. But that is the basics for our class. If you have any other questions, I put this in the Get to Know Me video as well, and this is posted many different places. But just as a little reminder, if you ever have any questions on anything about the class, feel free to email me, jbbryan@olatheschools.org, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can and make sure that we're doing everything we can for your student. I'm very happy to have them in class. Hopefully we can get back to in person safely and quickly, but whether that's the case or not, I'll be happy to continue teaching and trying to work with them through problems and make sure they are getting this information down. But yeah, that is all I have. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through email. Thank you very much.